Let me tell you a story. A woman I once coached walked out of a meeting in tears. She just had a one-on-one with her manager. Bad news, tough feedback, serious stuff. She was convinced it was over. They're going to fire me. He hates me. He thinks I'm useless. And yeah, I get it. It felt like her whole world had just tilted. But here's the thing. It's not what he said. Not even close. See, it wasn't the manager that wrecked her. It was her own thinking errors, cognitive distortions. She wasn't hearing feedback. She was hearing meaning she'd invented. Stuff like negative predicting, exaggerating, mind reading. You get one bit of criticism and your brain turns it into a personal doomsday memo. Her manager said, "I've noticed you've been late a few times. That's not ideal for the team." What she heard was, "You're lazy. You don't care. I want you out." But that's not feedback. That's projection. So how do you break that? You stop guessing. You start hearing what was actually said. Write it down. Literally, word for word, not the tone, not the attitude, just the words. Ignore the delivery. Yes, people can be clumsy. Managers too. Not everyone's trained in how to say tough things with grace. That's not the point. And go through what you wrote and cross out the noise, the loaded phrases, the slippery words, the stuff that stirs emotion but adds no clarity. Find the essence. In her case, it wasn't, "He thinks I'm worthless." It was, "He wants me to be on time." That's it. That's manageable. That's fixable. And if you're still not sure, ask. Use one word to cut through the fog. Exactly. When exactly did that happen? What exactly do you expect from me moving forward? How exactly do you see that? Exactly. It brings it back to real. Because your mind loves drama. But reality is usually way less painful. Most of the pain from feedback doesn't come from what was said. It comes from what you added to it. And I know what you're thinking. But I know this person. I know how they meant it. Do you? Or are you mind reading? Are you assuming tone, intention, and agenda? Or are you actually hearing facts? Because when you start mind reading and then you throw in some catastrophizing and you sprinkle it with a little exaggeration, yeah, no wonder it hits like a truck. That's not feedback anymore. That's self-sabotage. So here's what I told her. You don't need to become emotionless. You just need to stop building castles from guesses. Stick to what was said. Get clear on what it meant. And if you're unsure, ask. You'll be surprised how often people say, "Oh no, I didn't mean it like that." Exactly. Because most feedback isn't personal. It's practical. And the moment you treat it that way, you stop defending. You start growing. You take back control of the story. So now you know. Most of the pain from bad news isn't what's said. It's what we add to it. But here's the next step. What do you do when feedback is real? When someone's actually calling you out, not with drama, but with truth. Because here's the deal. Feedback, when it's honest, direct, and well meant, that stuff is rocket fuel. It doesn't feel like it in the moment. It stings, it shakes, it cuts. But if you learn to breathe through it, it can change your entire trajectory. Criticism isn't an attack. It's a mirror, and most of us are terrified to look in it, especially the ones in power. The entrepreneurs, the founders, the so-called visionaries. Some of them act like dictators. And yeah, they might build something impressive. But behind the scenes, they're usually surrounded by yes people and dying for real feedback, even if they don't show it. So let's flip the script. What if criticism isn't rejection? What if it's connection? What if every time someone tells you the truth, they're handing you a gift, a shot at growth, a chance to evolve, a chance to not become that person who hasn't heard the truth in 10 years? You want to grow? Then take the heat, because without feedback, we stop learning. Without learning, we freeze. And in a world that's moving faster than ever, standing still is the most dangerous place to be. Uber didn't succeed because of perfection. Tesla didn't grow because they had it all figured out. They learned. They listened. They adjusted. Faster than everyone else. And that's the game now. It's not about having all the answers. It's about staying open to better ones. And feedback. That's how better gets in. Now let's talk about giving it. Real feedback isn't just what you feel. It's what helps the other person grow. And yeah, that takes guts. Because real feedback isn't shouting from a distance. It's walking up, looking someone in the eye and saying, I think you need to hear this. It's not a punch, it's a gift. And yeah, it's scary. Because giving feedback means risking rejection. But that's what courage is. Stepping into truth. Even when it's uncomfortable. Especially when it's uncomfortable. So here's your challenge. Next time you see someone slipping, don't gossip. Don't ghost. Don't hope it magically gets better. Tell them. Tell them clearly, kindly, directly. Not to protect yourself, but to help them grow. Because that's real leadership. And if someone gives you that kind of feedback, don't defend. Don't explain. Just listen. Even if it hurts. Especially if it hurts. Because the truth you need the most is usually the one that's hardest to hear.